Morning everybody, I hope you've had a lovely weekend, as best as can be had in these very trying circumstances. It is Monday the 30th of March and I am about to carry on with our story for our Year 4s. We're up to chapter 12, which is called The Green Death. Now, like I said on various of the videos last week, I was hoping to be able to broadcast it live, but I'm going to struggle, I think, because my broadband fibre whatever connection it is at home isn't particularly quick, so I will have another try and I will have a go, but I thought that if this is not quite going to work, I'm better off doing it this way. A huge shout out and a big thank you to Liam from my class, who sat diligently watching a black screen yesterday while I did the test run and let me know that it was a bit blurry and sound was good, but the picture was a bit blurry. So I think we're going to I will have another go, but we shall see. It might just be like this for now, which I hope you don't mind. Okay, so just to get back to where we were, so the end of the last chapter that I read on Friday, Hiccup had been persuaded by Stoic to go and try and talk to the big dragon on the beach. Him and the boys had been ready to go into exile, and Stoic had said that if Hiccup could do this job and go and talk to this dragon, find out whether it was coming in peace or in war, then it would be okay to join the tribe. So off went Hiccup, and this is chapter 12. It's called The Green Death. It's one thing to approach a primeval nightmare when you are part of a crowd of 400 people. It is quite another to do so on your own. Hiccup had to force himself to put one foot in front of the other. Stoic offered to send a guard of his finest soldiers, but Hiccup preferred to go alone. There's less chance of anybody doing anything stupid and heroic, he said. Now, although this is the part of the story that the bards tend to focus on as the bit where Hiccup was particularly heroic, I do not agree. It is a lot easier to be brave when you know you have no alternative. I mean, Hiccup knew in his heart of hearts that this monster intended to kill them all anyway, so he didn't have a great deal to lose. Nevertheless, he was sweating as he peered over the edge of the cliff. There, below him, was the impossibly large dragon, filling up the beach. It appeared to be asleep. But an eerie singing was coming from the direction of its belly. The song went something like this. Watch me, great destroyer, as I settle down to lunch. Killer whales are tasty 'cause they've got a lot of crunch. Great white sharks are scrumptious, but here's a little tip. Those nasty teeny weeny pointy teeth can give a nasty nip. How odd, thought Hiccup. He can sing with his mouth shut. Hiccup nearly jumped clear of his leggings when the dragon opened both his crocodile eyes and spoke directly to him. Why so odd? Said the dragon, who appeared to be amused. A dragon with his eyes shut is not necessarily asleep, which means that it follows that a dragon with his mouth shut is not necessarily singing. All of this is not what it seems. That noise that you can hear is not me at all. That, my hero, is the sound of a singing supper. A singing supper? Echoed Hiccup, quickly remembering that you should never ever look into the eyes of a large malevolent dragon, especially like the one as big as this. So he fixed his gaze firmly on the dragon's talons instead. Now this was an even bigger mistake, as Hiccup suddenly realised that the dragon was holding a herd of pathetically bleating sheep captive under one massive claw. He pretended to allow one to escape, let the poor animal practically reach the safety of the rocks, and then picked it up by its wool with a delicate pincer movement and tossed it up in the air. Up, up, up it went, way up into the air. Now this was a trick that Hiccup had done several times himself, but with blackberries, not sheep. Now the dragon threw back his great head, and the woolly speck fell down into his mouth. The jaws slammed shut with a crash. There was a horrible sound of crunching as he chewed and swallowed the unfortunate sheep. The dragon saw that Hiccup was watching him in fascinated horror, and he brought his ridiculously enormous head down closer to the boy. Hiccup nearly passed out as his offensive dragon breath poured out a disgusting yellow-green vapour. It was the stench of death itself, a deep, head-spinning stench of decaying matter, of rotting haddock heads and sweating whale, of long-dead shark and despairing souls. The revolting steam curled its way around the boy in repellent coils and wormed its way up into its nose until he coughed and spluttered. "Some people say that you should debone a sheep before you eat it," sneered the dragon confidentially. "But I think it adds a nice crunch to what would otherwise be a bit of a soggy meal." The dragon burped. The belch came out as a perfect loop of fire that soared through the air like a smoke ring and landed on the heather surrounding Hiccup, setting it alight, so that just for a moment he was standing right in the middle of a circle of bright green flames. The heather, however, was damp, and the blaze flared for only a few moments, then it extinguished itself. "Oops!" giggled the dragon evilly. "Pardon me, that's a little bit of a party trick of mine." He then placed one gigantic claw against the edge of the cliff that Hiccup was standing on. "Humans, however," continued the dragon thoughtfully, "humans should really be filleted. The spine, in particular, can be very, very tickly as it goes down the throat." As the dragon spoke, he extended his claws. The talons grew slowly, emerging from the thick stumps of his fingers and rising up until they resembled nothing more than gigantic razors, 6 feet wide and 20 feet long, with points at the end as sharp as a surgeon's scalpel. "Removing the backbone is a delicate job," hissed the dragon nastily, "but one that I am particularly good at. A small incision at the back of the neck," he gestured towards Hiccup's neck. "A swift stroke downwards, then flick it out. It's practically painless. For me." The dragon's eyes lit up with the purest pleasure. Hiccup was thinking very fast indeed. There is nothing like staring your death in the face for speeding up your thoughts. What did he know about dragons that could work against an invincible monster like this one? He could see the dragon motivation page he had written in his mind's eye. Gratitude. Dragons were never grateful. Fear. Clearly hopeless with this one. Greed. Not a good idea to appeal to at this particular point in time. Vanity and revenge. They could be useful, but he couldn't quite think how. That left jokes and riddling talk. This dragon looked a little bit exalted for jokes, but from his manner of talking, he clearly fancied himself as a bit of a philosopher. And maybe he could buy himself some time if engaged him in a riddling conversation. "I've heard of singing for your supper," said Hiccup, "but what is a singing supper?" "A good question," said the dragon in surprise. "An excellent question, in fact." He drew back his claws and Hiccup sighed with relief. "It's a long time since the supper has shown such intelligence. They're generally too bound up with their own titchy little lives to bother with the really big questions. Now, let me think," said the dragon. And as he thought, he forked a protesting sheep on the end of his talon, then chewed on it reflectively. Hiccup was very sorry for the sheep, obviously, but deeply grateful that it wasn't him that was currently sliding down the ravenous reptilian gullet. How shall I put it? To a brain so much smaller and far less clever than mine. The thing is, we are all, in a sense, supper. Walking, talking, breathing suppers. That's what we are. Take you, for instance. You are about to be eaten by me. So that makes you my supper. That's obvious. But even a murderous carnivore like myself will be supper for the worms one day. We're all snatching precious moments from the peaceful jaws of time, said the dragon quite cheerfully. That's why it's so important that the supper can sing as beautifully as it can. He gestured to his stomach, from where the voice could still be heard, singing, though more and more faintly. Humans can be bland, but if you have some salt to hand, a little bit of brine will make them taste divine. That particular supper, said the dragon, that you hear singing now, was a dragon rather smaller than me, but very full of himself. I ate him about half an hour ago. Isn't that cannibalism? Asked Hiccup. Oh, it's delicious, said the dragon. Besides, you cannot call an artiste like myself a cannibal. He sounded a bit exasperated now. You are a very rude small person. What do you want, little supper? I have come, said Hiccup, to find out whether you come in peace or in war. Oh, peace, I think, said the dragon. I am going to kill you, though, he added. All of us, asked Hiccup. You first, said the dragon kindly, and then everybody else when I've had a little nap and got my appetite back. Takes a little while to wake up completely from a sleep coma. But it's all so unfair, said Hiccup. Why do you get to eat everybody just because you're bigger than everybody else? It's the way of the world, said the dragon. Besides, you'll find that you come round to my point of view once you're inside me. That's the marvellous thing about digestion. But where are my manners? Let me introduce myself. I am the Green Death. What is your name, little supper? Hiccup Horrendous Haddock the Third, said Hiccup. And the most extraordinary thing happened. As Hiccup said his name, the Green Death trembled, as if a sudden wind had made him shiver. Neither the Green Death nor Hiccup, however, noticed. Said the Green Death. I'm sure I've heard that name somewhere before, but it is rather a mouthful. So I shall just call you Little Supper. Now, Little Supper, before I eat you, tell me your problem. My problem? Asked Hiccup. That's right, said the dragon. Your why can't I be more like my father problem. Your it's hard to be a hero problem. Your snot lad would make a better chief than I problem. I have helped the problems of many a supper before. Somehow, meeting a really big problem like myself seems to put everything else into perspective. Let me get this straight, said Hiccup. You know all about my father and me not being a hero and everything. I can see things like that, said the Green Death modestly. And you want me to tell you my problems and then you're going to eat me? We're back at the beginning again, said the Green Death. We're all going to be eaten at some point. You can win yourself some extra time, though, if you're a smart little crab stick. A few scraps from the burning. The Green Death yawned. I'm suddenly rather tired, he said. You are a clever little crabstick. You've kept me talking for ages. And the dragon yawned again. I'm too tired to eat you right now, but you'll have to come back in a little while and I'll tell you how to deal with your problem then. I have a feeling I can help you. And the terrible monster really did fall asleep this time and snored most heavily. His great claws relaxed and fell open, and the remaining sheep, their woolly sides trembling with terror, scrambled over the tops of the terrible talons and bolted the cliff path. Hiccup stood watching the dragon thoughtfully for a second. Then he trudged slowly back through the heather towards the village. Everybody cheered when he walked through the gate. He was carried shoulder high and set down in front of his father. "Well, son," said Stoic, "does the beast come in peace or in war?" "He says he comes in peace," said Hiccup. There were large hurrahs and stamping of feet. Hiccup held his hand for silence. He's still going to kill us, though. End of chapter 12. Thank you very much. I will, like I say, I'll have another go at reading that one live later on. I don't think it's going to work, though. But at least this will be uploaded for you guys to have a look at. Brilliant. See you later, everybody. Have a good day. Keep safe. Thank you. Bye.